What's up, metalheads? My name's Jamie. This is the Blades and EDC channel. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. Today I have my overview of the Vosteed Labrador. I love everything about this knife except one thing, and it's nothing wrong with the knife. It's something wrong with me. It's not really wrong with me. It's just me and this knife aren't going to click for one reason, but it's nothing that's wrong with the knife. I'll explain more in a minute. But first, let's go over some specs. Set these over here a little bit and do some size comparisons. Overall length's 8 3/4 inches. Blade is 3 3/4 inches. Blade thickness is 118 thousandths. 154 cm blade steel. The weight is 3.44 ounces. Micarta scales. Cage ceramic ball bearings on the pivot. Deep carry pocket clip that does not carry very deep. You're going to have that much left out. That much of it's going to be left out of your pocket there, so it's pretty deep carry. But it is not lefty friendly. It is not reversible, so no lefty love on this one. It is a liner lock. It does have a lot of skeletonization going on the liners, which are nested in the micarta scales. Makes it very light for its size. I mean, under 3.5 ounces with for almost 9-inch knife. It's very impressive. The action on this knife is stupid good, like stupid good for the money. $84 is the price on these, and the action is absolutely amazing. I mean, it's a complete guillotine. Yeah, complete guillotine action. I think Kaiser's the OEM on this. Kaiser was the OEM on the Bellamy, so I'm assuming they are OEM in this knife also, but that's just an assumption on my part. I'm not sure about that, but it feels very similar to a Bellamy. Speaking of which, here's the Bellamy. It's very similar to a Bellamy. No fuller and thumb stud. The Bellamy has fuller. When you look at these two knives, it's like a larger Bellamy, which is an amazing knife also, by the way. It's a larger Bellamy with thumb studs instead of a fuller. And me personally, I prefer thumb studs over a fuller. Not because one is better than the other, but if you're new here and you don't know, I have arthritis in my knuckles. And when it's flared up, sometimes I have a hard time bending my finger really well. And when a fuller's tight like this, sometimes I can struggle to get to it. Right now it's not flared up, so it's not an issue. But with thumb studs, I don't have to worry about that, right? So I'd love to see a Bellamy made with thumb studs, and they got the room to do it too. You could even keep the fuller and add thumb studs. Oh man, that'd be so sick. So sick. I'd love to see them do that. This is not my Bellamy, by the way. This is Craig's. I do want a Bellamy. I want that murdered out Bellamy they did right after they dropped this M390 Bellamy. They had one with a black blade. If anybody out there has that one and you want to let go of it, let me know. I'd love to pick that one up. So, all right, let's do a couple other size comparisons here. Let's do some front flippers. How about the variant PE2? It's going to make it look like a toy. So tiny. What other front flippers we got out here at the moment? Here's the Wiha Spree. One of my favorite front flippers. It's also a long knife, for me anyway. About the longest I'd like to carry is the Kaiser Genie. Kaiser's action, I'm telling you, man, they for the money, Kaiser does so good. They got their detents freaking dialed in. Here's the Kaiser Feist. Make that thing look even tinier than the variant. Here's a bigger front flipper, a big knife. The Best Tech Exploit. It's about a 1/2 inch longer than the Exploit. Maybe closer to 1 inch longer than the Exploit. Let's do the regulars here. Here's the QSP Penguin. We always do a bug out, so here's a bug out. 1.5 inches longer than a bug out, almost 2 inches longer. 2 inches longer than a Penguin. We always do a pair of 3. Where's the pair of 3? Here's the pair of 3. Actually, let's do one more. Let's do the Paramilitary 2 because I want you to see how long this knife is. Paramilitary 2 is a giant knife for me. I have a medium-sized hand, so keep that in mind. If you got large, extra large hands, this is not going to be the same for you. Okay? It's probably almost a 1/2 inch longer than a Paramilitary 2. So it is a long knife. but it's extremely lightweight for its size. So that's my one issue with this knife. It's just the size. For me, it's way too much, way too long. In a normal grip, I've got 1.5 inches sticking out. When I choke up, 2.5 inches sticking out. Just too big for me, but other than that, I love this knife. One other thing I want to point out, this is my Carta. So this is the Pena Bravo, right? This is a $300 knife. This is my Carta. I swear it's the exact same my Carta. They feel and look identical to each other. Very nice micarta they used. Yeah, almost identical. I think it is identical, actually. I think they came from the same place. Do have a copper pivot collar here, which will bring the Bravo back out. Over time, it will patina and start to look like that. It won't be as bright. It'll get darker like that, which I like better than the bright, especially with this black micarta. Once it starts to patina like that, I think it looks better than it does when it's shiny. Let's talk about the deployment. You've got a flipper, but this is a light switcher, because if you try to push button it, the front flipper will come around and get you. So, but the light switch is amazing. The thumb stud action with the thumb is amazing, and the reverse flick, amazing. The detent on this knife is dialed perfectly. It's tuned perfectly for every form of deployment. And then we have the ever so loved and coveted front flipper with the good jimping that goes all the way over the top. Yeah, Vosteed is listening, guys. Front flipper action's really good, but for me on this knife, it can be tricky. I'll tell you why. It comes down to size again, right? When I'm holding this knife with a thumb flick, I'm down here. This is where I want to be. And when I want to hit the front flipper, I got to slide up to get to it. And the problem is when I slide up, I don't always land in the right spot. Sometimes I slide up to where the flipper gets me. But if you have a larger hand, you can hit the thumb stud from here, and from the same spot, you can reach up here and get that. It's not going to be a problem. Like right there, it got me. It's not a flaw with the knife. It's very similar to the Bellamy. Actually, it's the same as the Bellamy. But the Bellamy, it doesn't happen to me. It happens to me because my hand size isn't right, and I don't land in the same spot. I don't like to have to adjust my grip for each deployment, right? Move up and down it. And the only reason I have to is the size of the knife. To where with the Bellamy, you know, I can hit everything from the same spot. I don't have to, you know, slide up the handle to get to the front flipper. I get to the fuller and the flipper and the front flipper all in the same spot. I can't do that with this knife, just because it's, you know, a little too large for my hand. But other than the size of this knife, I love it. I think it's a great value. I love 154 CM. You guys know it's one of my favorite steels. It takes a wicked sharp edge, and it holds it for a long time, and it's corrosion resistant. So yeah, one of my favorite blade steels is 154 CM. I would love to see it on many more knives. So I think that's going to wrap it up, guys. It's a great knife for the money. And what I like, I just want to point it out one more time, that what I really like about Vosteed is they are listening to us, right? They hear what we're saying, and they're doing what we're asking them to do. And those are the kind of companies you should support, because there's a lot of other ones out there. The majority of the other ones out there are not listening. These guys are listening. They are involved in the community. You know, they even donated one of these for me to give away to you guys in my 2K giveaway, which has already happened, by the way. Congrats to the winner. I hope you love it. I hope you have extra large hands, because you're going to love it even more if you have extra large hands. But great knife either way. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.